This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or exclusive Patreon only gameplays, then feel free to check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. Queen Marchesa versus Rashmi Eternities Crafter. Didn't expect to see a blue deck here because my opponent asked for no counter spells. Yeah, that's a curious one. I hope our opponent isn't running counter magic. That is a much better hand, so let's keep. And we will get rid of Vindicate there. Then we'll go in for a scrubland so that we can Inquisition of Kozilek our opponent and see if they've got any counters in hand. It's all green stuff apparently. Eternal Witness I don't really like you having. You can ramp with Farhaven Elf if you want to. And that actually gets them into blue mana as well, doesn't it? Now there's a Rest in Peace. I think we just... yeah, let's go in for Rest in Peace here. Play it while we've got the chance. So apparently shouldn't have bothered going for the Eternal Witness. But I don't mind my opponent getting into blue mana off of Farhaven Elf. Alright, that is the other mana that we needed for our commander, so we'll just hold up both of our instants and pass the turn. I imagine they're just going in for the elf here. And there it is, taking them into an island no doubt. This might be elf tribal. Too early to say yet, that's the only elf that we've seen, but yeah, it might be. Certainly not going to point removal at Farhaven Elf. Don't care about if they keep that in play or not. Okay, getting into a Wrath isn't the worst. We become the Monarch and not going to swing in because our opponent can easily swing back with Farhaven Elf. Ophiomancer is really good. That allows us to start swinging in with our Queen Marchesa. Now, Explosive Vegetation, so the only card we know of now in the hand is Woodland Bellower. They've got 3 mystery cards in hand. Bitter Blossom is really good. I think I'd rather go Ophiomancer though. Let's swing in with Queen Marchesa first of all. They decide to let it through, and my opponent paused there for a second, and I was just thinking, if they're going in for Woodland Bellower and maybe their commander next turn, we might go in for Wrath of God, so in that case, why don't we go Bitter Blossom instead? Because it survives the Wrath of God. And if our opponent just wants to go straight through to combat, we can always go for the throat on the Farhaven Elf. Yeah, if our opponent's going to get a load of big creatures onto the board, then we might want a Wrath anyway. So I think going after Bitter Blossom is better there. Then we can be left with a creature. Oh, Bribery. Alright. We may have to go for the throat onto our own creature. Allow them to hit us and get the monarchy, and then we hit them back next turn. I assumed we were going to see Woodland Bellower. Alright, there's a Grave Titan. Yeah. That's tricky then. Yeah, that's very tricky. So I shouldn't have gone for Bitter Blossom apparently. I outthunked myself. At least it doesn't have haste. I think, yes, we'll definitely go for the throat. Just so that we keep the monarchy. And there's a land now, that's good. So we'll just go for Ophiomancer. Yeah, we can refill the board quite quickly with Hero of Bladehold. So, yeah, even if our opponent does force us to Wrath, we've still got a means of populating the board again. And this way we've got a couple of death touches in the way. I don't mind blocking with Queen Marchesa if our opponent forces us into it. Draw into another land off of the monarchy. Oh, a River's Rebuke. Okay. Well, at least we've got a one-sided board wipe here. It only gets rid of our Grave Titan, though. Yeah, and we get the monarchy back when we recast our commander. But yeah, gonna take a big hit here. And they get the monarchy from us. So they get into a card draw there. Haven't played their commander yet. We'll just go for the Plateau. And we'll try this Wrath of God. That wipes the board really quickly, so after that we just go for the Bitter Blossom. And our opponent has another shot with the Monarchy. And there is the Woodland Bellower. And yeah, that's typically the card that I go for with Woodland Bellower, a Reclamation Sage, taking us off of Bitter Blossom. At least we're not losing life to that every turn, although the creatures would be nice. So we are free to go for Queen Marchesa. And that will give us the Monarchy back. And then we'll get down that Ophiomancer as well, and that will put a nice death-touching snake in the way if they want to swing in. So hopefully they won't get the Monarchy back off us now. Although it is noteworthy that green is very good at trampling through small things like 1/1 death touches. Conjurer's Closet is really good with a Woodland Bellower in play, so getting rid of that sooner rather than later would be good. Alright, Muldrifter. That's a flyer, which can take the Monarchy off us, so Anguished Unmaking onto that would be good. We usually draw into more removal than this, but we've been drawing into lands off of the Monarchy for quite a while now. Instead, deciding to flicker the Beast instead of the Muldrifter, so they get a tutor here. And they go for Heartwood Storyteller. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, that player's opponent may draw a card. That is really good against us. Well, I don't think we can play around that. We just have to go for... We'll go for the Thoughtseize onto our opponent. They'll draw a card before the Thoughtseize lets us look at their hand at least. Now, what have we got? Oh, Risen Reef I do not like. Bramble Sovereign's good, but not on its own. Let's get rid of Risen Reef there. Then we'll just play out a Polluted Delta that can tap for mana thanks to Urborg. And yeah, I think we might as well go for Hero of Bladehold at this point. Then we will leave it at that. Could do with a Skull Clamp with that snake generator, the Ophiomancer. See what card we draw into. Yeah, more mana. Don't really need more mana. We need removal. This is a control-based deck, and it's got a hell of a lot of removal in it, but we're not drawing as much as I'd like. It's usually every other card is a removal spell. Explore from our opponent. We'll draw us a card, which we will certainly take advantage of. There's removal. A Council's Judgment will get rid of that Woodland Bellower. And then Acidic Slime I don't particularly care about. It is a Death Toucher though, which is not irrelevant. Now, do we want to let them have the Monarchy with the Muldrifter? And then we exile Woodland Bellower in response to them going for the Conjurer's Closet? I don't know. We'll see how they attack first. I think... Oh, actually, they got rid of our Scrubland, taking us off of Anguished Unmaking. I was too busy commentating there. Oh, and they don't swing in. That's curious. Probably worried about the Hero of Bladehold. Alright, well. And then going for Acidic Slime. Alright, going after our lands. So we're just going to have to use Anguished Unmaking onto the Conjurer's Closet, I think. Alright, going after a red land. Now a Loyal Apprentice gets flyers in the air for that Muldrifter. Do we play Mana Crypt? I think we have to if our opponent's going to go for Acidic Slimes. We'll go Council's Judgment onto the Muldrifter, I think. Just so they can't flicker it. Then we'll go in for Loyal Apprentice. Play the Arid Mesa. And then probably just Anguished Unmaking onto the Conjurer's Closet. Yeah, I think that's okay. We'll make a Thopter with the Loyal Apprentice. And then Hero of Bladehold can just get chumped by the Woodland Bellower is the only problem. So let's just swing in with the Thopter and pass the turn. We're at a little bit of a stalemate here. That Heartwood Storyteller is really good against our deck. Okay, that Vindicate comes back. We got rid of that at the beginning of the game. So I think Anguished Unmaking onto Conjurer's Closet and Vindicate onto Woodland Bellower. And then we can actually start swinging in after that. We'll lose something to the Acidic Slime, but we'll get rid of the Acidic Slime itself. A Conclave Naturalist enters the battlefield, destroy artifact or enchantment. Don't really care about losing the Mana Crypt because it's only going to reduce our life total anyway. We've got a low curve on this deck. So potentially actually doing us a favour there. Especially if we lose a bunch of flips in a row with that. Then a Sakura Tribe Elder could be much worse. And of course they don't want to swing in. Let's grab ourselves a Plains with the Arid Mesa. Anguished Unmaking onto the Closet. We'll draw them a card again with the Storyteller. And I'll lose yet another life to the Polluted Delta in order to get out a tapped Shockland. Don't want to be desperate for mana and have to shock a Shockland in. Speaking of being low on life, there's Necropotence. Alright, Vindicate onto Woodland Bellower. Feeding our opponent more cards. But needs must. And now they've got that 4/4 to block with as well. That's a pain. I think we might just have to carry on playing it cool here. Because I don't want to lose that Hero of Bladehold. Yeah, we'll just carry on pecking away at them with the Thopters. Our opponent sacks the Sakura Tribe Elder in response. And it's Hero's Downfall for us, I don't mind that. That might go on the Heartwood Storyteller. Then we can actually play our deck without feeding our opponent cards. Bramble Sovereign. Can they make use of Bramble Sovereign? They've certainly got the mana to. Well, Primeval Titan. I mean, annoyingly, we have to go for removal onto the Bramble Sovereign. Because they're just going to make a copy of Primetime. So if we kill off the Primeval Titan, they'll still have a copy of it. So that's pretty much all we can do there. They go for just a basic and a Mosswort Bridge, so nothing too obnoxious with Primeval Titan. Although this needs to see 10 power or greater, which they definitely have. So they can go for that next turn, and going into a Solemn as well. We just want to see a board wipe again at this point. Yep, just another land for us. I think we're just going to have to go for Necropotence, much as I hate to do it. So let's go like that. And that Heartwood Storyteller has been really good against our deck. Very good shooter from our opponent, that. I'm just going to put 7 into Necropotence because we don't care about the Rest in Peace. And then I'm going to leave Thopters back to help us gang up on that Primeval Titan. I'm assuming they're going to swing into it. Necropotence can go... Oh, it doesn't matter what order everything goes in. Yeah, just go like that. Okay, Swords to Plowshares is a good one. Vamp Tutor isn't the worst either, although we may have to go for Swords to Plowshares on our own stuff. Anyway, Wasteland is a turn too late, so we'll just have to hope there's nothing too obnoxious under the Mosswort Bridge. Let's get rid of Bajuka Bog. and the Caves of Koilos. Now, Elspeth Knight-Errant allows us to fly over with the Hero of Bladehold, and we might be able to pile a bunch of damage in with that. So, I think it might have to be swords onto Primeval Titan. I mean, what do they have with that Mosswort Bridge is the question. Mistraven is a flyer. When it enters the battlefield, return a creature. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature to its owner's hand. Okay. Hopefully not the Hero of Bladehold. They go for Queen Marchesa, don't really mind that. Exclusion Mage, when it enters, return a target creature to its owner's hand. Alright, they're going to bounce a bunch of our stuff here. They've only got one Trampler in play, which we can deal with at the moment. Yeah, getting rid of the Hero of Bladehold, that is a tempo loss for us. And then, Phantasmal Image, yeah, just setting up the board to swing in for a victory, seemingly. See what they bounce this time. Getting rid of a Death-Touching Snake, alright. And then going for Mosswort Bridge, let's see what it is. Oh, Progenitor Mimic, yeah, really cool deck our opponent's made. They're just going for a bunch of bounce here. Let's see what they want to bounce. Going after a Thopter token. Let's go. In fact, let's not do that now. They might be able to play a creature that we don't like beforehand. Let's let them go through to the combat step first. They are going to draw a card with Swords to Plowshares. We have to get rid of Primeval Titan here because it has Trample. Then they swing in with everything. So we certainly have to block the 4/4. Then we'll get rid of that thing. And we'll get rid of that. And we'll just take 2 from the Solemn. And, oh, of course, yeah, they take the Monarchy away from us. We weren't going to draw at the beginning of our turn anyway, thanks to Necropotence. What we could have done, had Necropotence not been in play, is gone for a board wipe with Vamp Tutor, but we were nowhere close to that without the Necropotence, so that was just a last-ditch effort for us anyway. So our opponent has certainly got us here. We'll throw out a Plains, and I don't think there's anything we can do. Yeah, I really don't think we can make enough blockers with Monastery Mentor. We'll take the Monarchy back off our opponent and just see if we were anywhere close to a board wipe after all that. Let's go Rest in Peace. Just for the sake of making a token. Draw one more card with Necropotence. And then at the end of the turn we'll draw 2 cards. We'll get one off the Necropotence and one from the Monarchy. See what was on top. And see if we had any chance of doing anything. Yeah, that's par for the course in this game. Didn't get into as much removal as I would have liked. Even when we went for a bunch of cards off the top with Necropotence, we didn't get into any, so we were just destined to not win this one. We'll give our opponent a chance to turn everything sideways here. Nope, they're just casting things, so let's just leave it there. And be sure to say good game to my opponent when the client catches up. Yeah, a very interesting build of Rashmi there. It's usually a more instant and sorcery based deck, so very interesting to see a more creature based build. Like I said, I'd usually fancy my odds against a deck like this, but if we're not going to draw into all the removal that we need, let's have a look at the top. Yeah, Fiery Confluence, that would have done it. A Braid, Oblivion Ring, Austere Command. Yeah, the Liliana. Yeah, anyway, we weren't getting into as much as I would have liked, so just unlucky there, but a really good build from my opponent. They absolutely deserve that win. because it was a really good back and forth and a really good deck from them, I think. So hopefully you all enjoyed it as well. Be sure to leave it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.